Hello, people of the internet. It's your boy, the tomato.
Yes, welcome back to the Martian Tomato podcast. It's been a really long time, Brennan.
Yes, it's
Uh,
been a really long time. And you're probably
yeah.
asking why it's taken a long time. Molly said I looked like an apple once and I was offended. He apologized, and we're all good now.
Great, this is
I'm
how we
kidding,
start our
I'm
return.
kidding.
This is exactly what we need. Okay, but yes, it's been a really long time. I think the last time we did it was like around
End
May.
of Stargirl. I think
No,
it was
I
close to
saw
that.
around like maybe like July, somewhere around there. Yeah, it's been a really long time.
Yeah.
We've been
Hmm.
really busy with a lot of personal stuff, but
Yeah.
we're back
Me and
now.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm working a lot. I finally got a job where my hours are all the same, and Marley is obviously doing college stuff. Give this man a
Well,
round
I'm
of
working right
applause.
now, so
He's
yeah,
also working and doing college stuff. Give this man a round of applause.
yeah.
Put in background noise.
Anyways, yes. If you guys don't remember, I am Marley or Mars Bars.
I am Brennan slash Tomato.
And let's just say that a lot has happened since the last time we recorded our podcast.
Yes,
I think you mentioned earlier. Last time we actually did a podcast at all. It was like the second last episode of Stargirl and something like
I
that.
was getting close to the end of Stargirl. Correct.
Yeah, what were your thoughts on that show?
Fucking guaranteed the best first season Arrowverse show ever. I don't think there's. It's going to be tough to top that. If you come out with another show with DC Arrowverse, it's going to be really tough to beat that. I think the whole
I
season was
think
fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. Although I think it's like the best first season in recent history because DC TV seasons have been a bit let's just say it's been a bit rough lately. That I haven't really
Yeah,
been the best ever. I mean, there are some decent okay seasons. I think like season 5 of Legends was I mean, I liked that one. I don't know. I can't remember
yeah,
if you like that or not. I remember we did a mini series on that, but I'm
yeah.
not sure if you like that. But yeah, Legends season 5 was pretty good.
Mm,
Five, the first half of Flash season 6 was good, but then it kind of
yeah,
tanked at the second half. But
yeah,
yeah, so it was kind of a breath of fresh air to have Stargirl and
yeah.
all that. Which speaking of DC TV seasons and upcoming seasons for DC TV, we
Let's
have
go.
Batwoman season 2
Ho,
tomorrow.
ho, 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 ho,
Yes,
ho.
what are your and actually before we jump into it, I did make I did do a favorite DC TV season series on my on our Instagram account, which is Galactic Arrowverse Hub. The link will be in the description down below. Make sure you go give it a follow and give some of my posts a like. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I did do a mini series on that. My favorite DC TV seasons. It's basically done now.
Yeah,
But Batwoman season 2, upcoming season, start premieres tomorrow as of this recording.
let's go. So
What are your
excited.
thoughts, Brendan? What are your thoughts and
My,
what are your predictions?
okay, here's the thing. When it comes to the second season, because of fucking what's her name, Ruby Rose.
Yeah,
I'm getting
Ruby
her name
Rose.
every time. Yeah, they have to come out and make this season way better than the first season. I feel like because if the second season is worse than the first season, then that's not going to be good whatsoever.
Yeah,
Like,
I do
it's,
kind of agree with you on there that the ratings kind of tanked last season. Now, I do think that the season it was all right. I mean, there was some problems with it, but it was all right. It got better during the second half. But
yeah,
I think the reason why I got its bad rap is because of the initial teaser trailer from season 1. That really put a
yeah,
lot of sour taste in everyone's mouth, and which is the reason why a lot of people kind of just kind of just got turned away from that show. But the show itself, I mean, it was getting somewhere in the second half of season 1. I think we mentioned that in our season 1
yeah.
review of Batwoman a couple months ago
First couple
now.
episodes were like terrible, and then throughout the second half, it got a lot better.
Yeah, I'd say after Crisis on Infinite Earths, that's when the show
Yeah,
got quote unquote better. Again, there's still
I
problems,
agree.
but like it like the writing was getting more and more consistent. There was more and more character development and more character dynamics involved and all that stuff. It's really interesting
Yeah,
to see how that will all play out in season 2 because now Kate Kane is missing. She's not dead, but
yeah.
she's missing, or presumed dead.
Missing like
Presumed
Bruce
dead.
Wayne,
Yeah,
in that one in the
yeah,
Arrowverse.
that's another thing because I'm really curious to see how Hush will play a role here because he is,
Yeah,
I guess he was supposed to be kind of like a distraction, like an emotional distraction for Kate Kane
Kate Kane. Yeah,
in what was originally a different season 2, but I guess now it's going to be different because you have Ryan Wilder played by Javicia
Yeah.
Leslie, and so we have a different Batwoman, and also there's some new villains too. I know Black Mask is
Yeah.
involved in that
I'm
too.
super excited for that.
Yeah,
I
Black Mask,
really like
Victor
Black
Zaz,
Mask.
all that. I
Mm.
think it's
Yeah,
gonna be pretty
so
interesting. Yeah.
yeah, for the second season, if they announce like a couple villains or whatever. It's kind of confusing because obviously most seasons have like one main villain and maybe some side villains. So we don't really know if like Black Mask is the main villain is
I have a
it's like
feeling that it's gonna be like it's. I mean, going on the topic with Stargirl, it's gonna be like Stargirl, where you have all these different villains, but like they're not all gonna be resolved in this one season. I feel like with Black Mask, I'm not expecting him to be to like get sent to Arkham or whatever in this season.
yeah,
I expect him to return in like like a season 3 or 4 if we ever get that, and all that stuff. Um,
yeah,
I think like when it comes to like Hush, I feel like Hush probably might get sent to Arkham. Same with probably Alice, which by the way, that's gonna be
yeah,
really interesting because Alice wanted, she didn't want to kill Kate Kane. She knew that Kate Kane was Batwoman. She didn't want to kill her.
yeah,
She just wanted her part of like her like mad fantasy or whatever, and all that. But now it's
yeah.
since we have a different character.
I was actually kind of thinking that I was kind of thinking like maybe for some reasons he's gone insane again and think the new Batwoman that comes in is Kate Kane still. I was thinking maybe
Yeah,
they could
what
do something like that.
Yeah. Well, one thing I'm kind of worried about is that Alice's character was really good because of that dynamic, that sister dynamic with Kate Kane. Beth.
Yeah,
She was kind of given up on by her father and all that stuff. So it's like she kind of wants revenge and all that. But now it's gonna be really interesting because I guess her father's still alive. But I'm curious
yeah.
to see how that dynamic will play out with Ryan Wilder. Like
Hmm.
and I'm really interested to see what motivates her to become Batwoman, other than just she stumbles upon the suit and then just dons the
Yeah,
mantle of Batwoman. I want more like character development on that.
yeah. We'll have to see. Because like we know the first episode is going to be pretty much about kind
the
of
dis-
mostly about Kate, the disappearance of Kate Kane.
yeah, I think that's the title of the first episode.
Yeah, and I think I've heard on the second episode that's when the second Batwoman meets what's her face that we just talked about her.
Alice.
Alice, yeah, that was a rumor, but I don't know if that's true or not. That could just be a whole thing because I
Yeah.
remember, if I remember correctly, isn't Scarecrow also in this season? And
So I think
I
that's
think that
that's
was the
that's
main
for a
villain.
different show. That's a different show.
That's a different show. Okay,
Yeah. That's
so yeah, we'll
okay.
have to see. I'm hoping. I'm really hoping they just don't be like, here, have the bat suit. You're athletic and stuff, and
Yeah,
then just yeah,
I'm really curious to see because like we don't really know anything about Ryan Wilder. She was like kind of introduced in a Batgirl comic a
yeah,
couple months ago, but like other than that, we don't really know her character. She's like an OG. She's like John Diggle, where like
yeah,
is a TV show original and not really like from the comics and all that stuff. So I'm really curious to see the character, yeah, just the character development and character dynamics with all the other
yeah.
characters too. Like especially with her, I forgot the name of the other cast of characters, but
Luke,
yeah,
Luke
I'm really curious
Fox.
to see how it all plays out. Um,
Hmm.
like
I'm actually curious to see if Luke comes. What's his name when he turns into a bat? What's I forget his name.
Oh,
Bat.
yeah, if he becomes Batwing.
Batwing. I think they kind of have to do that. I think because then no bat person will be around and well, Gotham will just
Well,
run the shit
they never
again.
really finished that arc last
That's also
season.
true.
Yeah, because like Luke Fox, he finds like the killer, but like Kate's like, yeah, don't do it. Don't kill him, stuff like that. But like I feel like it's not really, you know, it wasn't really resolved. I feel like they
Mhm.
might kind of dive deep into that a little bit more. I don't know. I feel like what this season needs to be, it kind of needs to be more of a recuperating season, because
Yeah,
the main star left the show
yeah,
after season 1, so I feel like they kind of need to regroup and all that stuff. Hopefully the writing is more consistent now, and
yeah. I hope so too.
none of that, whatever that was, the first half of season 1.
Yeah, so I saw a trailer for Batwoman, and she seems the complete opposite of Kate Kane.
Yeah, she's I think she was described as like a recluse, kind of like something like that. Like,
Yeah, because he was like making jokes, like I don't know what this button does, but do you want to find out?
yeah. Yeah,
So it's like,
I feel like. Well, what do you expect from this character, from this new Batwoman?
um, I feel like what I'm expecting is her to like become Batwoman, think it's a game, and then something really really big happens, and then she gets more serious about
Yeah, because I did
Batwoman.
watch like one of the teaser trailers for Batwoman season 2, and she was like all like boo and all that stuff. Like she was like taking
Yeah,
it more of like a joke. So
yeah,
I have a feeling that I kind of agree with you on there. I feel like that it's gonna be all like sunshine and rainbows for her for like I'd say the first
yeah,
couple episodes, and then something serious is gonna happen. Like and then like she realized that I need to take this seriously now. It becomes
yeah,
more brooding. I don't
exactly.
want her to go like from one extreme to another because that's not really that never really like transitions well from for a character
Yeah,
like where they at the start of the season they're like all happy sunshine rainbows and like at the very end they're like all dark brooding and all that stuff like I want to
yeah,
see a gradual change. I don't want to see like a drastic change like in like overnight or like one episode or maybe a set of episodes. Like hopefully like
yeah,
it's more gradual and like they kind of build
yeah,
up on
exactly.
that like over the different seasons if there are going to be more seasons after this one. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm hoping there's more seasons because some of the main shows are getting canceled left and right. But
Yeah, speaking of, another thing I wanted to discuss today was actually the future of DC TV. So I'm
mm,
just gonna bring this up here. So there were it was two major shows that are getting dropped by the CW. One of them was Supergirl, which I know you were really sad about that.
I'm trying not to get emotional.
And the other one was Black Lightning, and I was really surprised by that because
Yeah, I was too.
Black Lightning had a really good season 3. And now I think the reason
Yeah,
why was because the first two seasons were not that great. I think it tanked. I think like the
those
writer,
two seasons definitely tanked it.
yeah, and I honestly kind of put the blame on those first two seasons because like season like if Black Lightning just for some reason like just restarted and it started off with
Yeah,
season 3, it would have been great. Like it was
yeah,
like that was by far one of my favorite seasons in all of the Arrowverse and just
yeah.
DC
I
TV in
agree.
general. I mean, I made a post about that on Galactic Arrowverse Hub.
Yeah,
So I was really shocked, especially since there's gonna be a backdoor pilot for the Painkiller show or Painkiller
mm,
spinoff if that ever gets picked up. Hopefully it does.
yeah,
Um, which I guess we'll kind of discuss something similar to that later. But yeah, it's surprising that there's going to be a backdoor pilot, but then like the
yeah,
show that it's going to be with that held in is going to get like dropped after that season.
yeah.
Um,
Like it's very disappointing. I think Black Lightning was pretty. I didn't mind the first two seasons. I understand why people hated the first two seasons. I totally get that. But the third season just took my breath away. Like you said, it was I think one of the better season three seasons out of all of them, in my opinion.
yeah,
And
it's one of the best seasons in the Arrowverse. It was
yeah,
a breath of just like Stargirl, excuse me. It was like it was a breath of
mm,
fresh air. I
yeah,
wasn't expecting. I think the reason why it worked so well is because the stakes were higher. Like there was
mm,
like a war coming, like an invasion. So I was like
yeah,
on the edge of my seat on every episode, and I think that's why it was so good. But
yeah, exactly.
I guess it makes sense that if they are gonna start a painkiller show, I
Mm,
guess it kind of makes sense that Black Lightning will be dropped. But I mean, I don't think it needs to do that. I think it
yeah,
could have you know I mean, look. I'm not really into the business part of TV shows. I don't know if this is
yeah,
possible, but maybe they can just like the CW can just realize like, hey, maybe like, ending the show is a bad idea. Let's not do that.
yeah.
Let's just bring it back for season
Like with
5.
Swamp Thing, like what they think they just ended it. People didn't think they were gonna like it. And I actually
Yeah,
thought it was good.
yeah. It actually speaking of Swamp Thing, I had a rerun on the CW. A lot of people actually really liked it, but it's still not going to
Yeah,
be. It's still not going to get picked up. Um,
really, that actually shocks me.
yeah, yeah. Well, I think it's because now this is just my understanding. I think maybe because the CW has a lot on their plate, like with all the shows that they introduce now,
Yeah,
I think it's really hard to manage all that. Because let's look at the shows that they have right now. So, or that's I guess let's say after this season of shows, let's look at what the CW has going on for them right now. So they have Legends of Tomorrow. That will be
yep,
their season 6 or 7, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
They're
same
gonna have
here.
the Flash, which I'm honestly thinking. I think the Flash might end soon because we're like after season 7.
It's tough because I feel like the Flash is going to have to be the main one now.
Well, it's the only
Right.
flagship DC show left. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously you have Legends
exactly.
Tomorrow too, but like they're not as popular as the Flash. Actually, the Flash,
Yeah,
behind I think Supernatural and all that stuff. I think it's the most viewed show for the CW. So if they end it,
yeah.
I mean,
I
uh,
don't
they're
see them ending it anytime soon.
well, because they're on their 7th season. We're going into season 7 now,
Yeah,
and I have a feeling that like once you get to that season 6 threshold, that's when like shows start to like running out of ideas. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, I feel like the Flash is starting to run out of ideas. I did like
I mean, true.
I did like the Bloodwork storyline for season 6, but like Mirror Mistress, it really didn't seem like they knew what they were doing for that one for
Yeah,
that season.
we'll have to see this upcoming season if they improve on her and her just being a villainous person. I don't know like what her intentions are now. Like
Yeah,
her goal was to kill her husband, and now he's dead. He took
yeah,
over his company.
yeah. I
So
know. Like,
I don't know what their intentions are at all.
yeah, but
Just one of those things that we don't know, but we'll see. We'll have to
yeah.
see.
So
And
I'm really sorry.
another
Go on.
sad news is the Canaries and
Yeah,
girl.
that one's also not getting picked up as well.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm going to touch on that later, but
yeah,
um, yeah. So like let's just take a look at what the CW has going for them in terms of DC stuff after this
yeah.
season. So obviously we just mentioned Legends of Tomorrow and Flash.
Mhm.
Unless like after this season, it's confirmed that Flash is going to be canceled or not canceled, but like ended or
Yeah,
and it's going to be ending or whatever. So yes, you have
yeah,
Flash, Legends. You have Stargirl, which is going to be going
yeah,
into well after this season, it's going to be season 3. You also have
yeah,
the Wonder Girl show. It was I think
yeah,
I wrote a post on this on Arrowverse Sub.
yeah.
It's not going to be based on the Wonder Girl from like Titans or whatever. It's going to be a different Wonder Girl. We also have the
Speaking
Black
of,
Lightning spinoff, which is Painkiller. I'm actually kind of excited for
I'm
that one
actually
because
super excited about that because I'm a huge fan of Painkiller. I
yeah, I
think he's
like
sick.
his character. I really want to see them develop that. And then you also have
Yeah,
Naomi, this is really a well known character from DC.
mm,
So I'm really curious to see it really what the CW is doing. I feel like they've always done this from the beginning, with one exception, that being the Flash. But
yeah.
they've always gone for lesser known characters and then make shows out of them. Like so
Is
We had Green Arrow.
Arrow not as known?
No, I think before that show, most people actually before Smallville even, most
Yeah.
people view Green Arrow as like a knockoff Batman because he's a
Oh yeah,
guy who does who knows martial arts. He has gadgets and he goes and beats up
yeah.
bad guys. Right?
Yeah, that's
That's
what I think about. It does make sense because when you're talking about like Superman and that stuff, Supergirl never gets brought up. Always just Superman, Superman,
yeah,
Superman.
yeah. I guess like I said, the exception is the Flash because he's the main Justice League member. So
Yeah, he's one of the main
obviously,
Justice League people.
yeah, and also he created one of the biggest like comic book events of all time, that being Flashpoint. So yeah, obviously he's pretty well known. They also have Superman and Lewis. That's going to be season 2, I guess, next year or whatever.
I still don't know how I'm gonna feel about that
I
show.
feel like that show is aimed to. I think it's aimed for all audiences because with the name Superman and Lewis, it's very
Mm,
reminiscent of Lois and Clark, which is an older Superman show.
yeah,
So I have a feeling this show is going to try to cater to all audiences. So we might get
yeah,
some. I mean, I feel like for me, it's going to be similar to Stargirl, but on like a much more popular scale because obviously it's Superman we're talking about
yeah,
here. So that's what I'm thinking too. Also, some of the promotional images for Superman and Lois, it kind of gives off a very Man of Steel type of vibe to it.
yeah.
Like
I was
when
going
they
to say kind of like Man of Steel, and I feel like he's going to be more family based of maybe Clark or
well,
Superman
yeah,
teach
like
his
because
kids
it's
how
going
to
to be
fight
focusing on his
Kryptonian sort of
family.
thing.
Yeah,
That's
it's going
going
to
to be
be
more
focusing
family
on his
based.
family, definitely. Yeah, that
Yeah.
they mentioned that.
Mhm.
But like when they revealed his suit, the new suit, it looks very Man of Steel like. I have it up
Yeah,
right
I
now.
agree.
It looks very Man of Steel like. Even the type of backdrop that they have on
Mm,
Tyler Hoechlin here, it's
mm.
very man. It's not something that you'd see in like a Stargirl promotional poster, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but so they kind of already the CW kind of already has their hands full in terms of DC shows.
Yeah,
So it kind of like look, I would like shows like Black Lightning to stay afloat.
yeah.
Supergirl, I mean,
Because
actually, I
he's.
don't know.
I
Supergirl
think
is
it's tough for me because I love Supergirl and I whatever, but I get why it's ending at the
yeah.
same
A lot of
time.
people saying that it's just straight up getting canceled. That's not true. The only reason why they're ending it on their own terms. That
Yeah,
like, let's just clarify that right now. It's not getting canceled. It's ending on its own terms.
yeah, it's ending on its own
Um,
terms. It's not getting canceled.
yeah, I think
For sure.
the main the main reason behind that is because Melissa Benoist really doesn't want to do Supergirl anymore because she wants to take care of their baby, you know, all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you have that.
Plus, you can
So yeah,
probably even make a Dreamer show if you wanted to, if you think
well,
about
what
it.
people want is that they want a Dreamer and Brainy to show up in what do you call it? In Legends of Tomorrow.
Legends?
Yeah, Legends.
No, no.
I would okay. One character that I would like to see from another show that just got dropped, or quote unquote show, would be the Green Arrow and the Canary show. I would like to see
I want
what's
that
his
to
name,
get picked
Connor
up so
Hawk.
bad.
I want to see. I think his name is Connor Hawk, right? The
Yeah,
yeah.
I think so.
I feel like he would have been pretty cool in Legends Tomorrow. He was on Legends in season
Yeah,
one when they went to
yeah,
that alternate Star City. So I mean, I guess it would be pretty cool to see him back on that show.
yeah.
And he even
With a
said the actor for I forgot his name, but the actor for Connor Hawk even said that if that show doesn't get a green light, he might even consider going on Legends, which would be pretty cool. I would like to see that.
yeah,
I feel like some of the characters on that show are kind of getting a little stale,
yeah,
especially look, I love John Constantine, but I think his character is just kind of not really
yeah,
doing any good in that show. Same with the
yeah,
Astra, and especially
yeah.
since next season's going to be more sci-fi based
Yeah,
because they're
where
going to
they
be dealing
fight
with alien.
aliens.
Yeah, and all that stuff. So I I have a feeling that those characters might leave.
Mm.
Yeah, like, you
Yeah,
know,
it's
well,
tough
you had
because
Charlie leave, so
yeah, because I think the most likable character on there for me is Constantine. I think he's probably
yeah.
my favorite character.
I do like Sarah's character. I did like how when she was first brought on Arrow, she was a very like dark character, just like Oliver Queen. She kind of has like a similar
Yeah,
like character arc as Oliver Queen, you know. So I do
yeah,
like her character
exactly.
too. But yeah, all I
Yeah,
do agree, like I do think that all the good characters kind of left the show. Like Ray Palmer left last season, Nora Dark left last season, you know. So
yeah. Exactly. We'll just have to see. Like, I think they have to keep the Flash for a little bit because it's like the main one bringing in people watching and whatnot. So they're going to have to try to keep Grant
I
Gustin
do
and all those guys
feel
happy.
like no, yeah. Well, I don't want to sound like a big pessimist here, but I do feel like that HBO Max is going to take the CW spotlight in terms of DC shows because they have a Green Lantern show coming, they have a
Yeah.
Gotham PD show coming, and they also all
Oh,
have their current
HBO has
shows,
so
which
many things coming. Suicide
yeah,
Squad,
they also
Godzilla vs. Kong. They have so much stuff
yeah they
coming.
have the
Space
P.
Jam.
I think it's same yeah. They have that one was a Peacemaker show is starring John Cena from Suicide Squad. Did that one character? Yeah, there's also gonna be a show there.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
yeah, so there's gonna be a show there. I feel like in terms of DC shows, I feel like HBO Max is going to just take the spotlight from CW, and CW is
Yeah.
kind of be on the bit of a back burner. They are still, although Warner Brothers and DC did announce recently that the DC like live action universes they're all connected. So I do
Yeah.
like that. So every single live action DC show is not like worthless or you don't need to you watch it or anything like that because you never know maybe they might have another big crossover, right?
Yeah.
Especially with Flashpoint coming up, that Flash movie too. I feel
Oh
like
my
that's going to
God.
answer a lot of the multiverse questions for DC. You know.
That's the another thing because the second Wonder Woman, I say it's better than the first one, and all my friends hate me for it. Well, don't hate me; they just think I'm stupid, which
I
is
haven't
totally fine.
watched it yet. I haven't
Yeah,
watched it yet,
yeah.
so
So the next couple movies DC brings out has to be good. I understand why
well,
people don't like Wonder
the
Woman, but they're
the
going in the wrong
Snyder cut is
direction.
coming out this year.
Yes, true. So
Uh,
hopefully that's good.
is the Flash movie coming out this year too?
I think so. I think Batman, The Flash, Shazam 2, and I think Aquaman 2 are all coming out this year. I'm pretty sure.
No, Aquaman
I
2 I
think
think is it is this year. I forgot. Yeah. But
sometime this year.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like right now we're in like the multiverse era of both of just comic book properties, because you have Marvel doing their multiverse thing with Spider-Man and all that stuff, and I
Oh,
feel like that's gonna get set
speaking
up
of
with
Spider-Man, can I just complain about something right now?
yeah.
People of the internet, I don't care if this dude gets confirmed or not. I don't care. I would like to be surprised when it comes to movies. I don't want to know things in advance.
Yeah, that's kind of what my thinking with the like when Crisis on Infinite Earths, when all those news came out and when like Kevin Conroy
Yep.
was gonna be there, what else? Brandon Routh
Yep.
was gonna play Superman again, all that stuff. Now, I would have preferred that if it wasn't leaked, like kind of like with the Mandalorian. Like let's just go to
Yeah.
the Mandalorian real quick. With season
Mm.
2, we got fan favorite characters from all across the Star Wars universe, and like all we got were rumors. Like Rosario Dawson plays Ahsoka Tano. Those were only rumors. None of it was
Exactly.
confirmed. And like, okay, the only one that was really confirmed was Tamara Morrison. He was going to play Boba Fett. That was the
Yeah.
only one that was like confirmed for sure. But like Katie Sackhoff as Bo-Katan, that was only just rumors, right? And then
Exactly. And it
obviously,
made it so much better when we watched it and found out, oh my god.
yeah, and then Luke Skywalker in the last episode, Mark Hamill actually well, he did the voice for Luke. They de-aged his voice and all that stuff. So
Mm.
and Mark Hamill even made a tweet saying that like I was so surprised that like they were actually to keep it able to keep his appearance a secret, and it wasn't like, oh, it got leaked or anything like that. There were no
Exactly.
leaks for that. So like, like, why can't we do something like that? Because with like Marvel, like, I mean, I guess it's cool. I mean, they're gonna build up hype, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it's be much better if it was surprised. Like recently, Charlie Cox is going to
Mm.
be in Spider-Man 3 as
Yeah.
Matt Murdock,
Yeah.
AKA
And yeah,
Daredevil. I
I'm
don't know if he's
super
going to be
excited about
Daredevil. I
that.
think he might just be
Absolutely.
Matt Murdock. I think that's what it is.
I don't see him being Daredevil. I think he'll just be the lawyer. I
Which,
think.
yeah, speaking of, I need to start watching the Netflix Marvel shows because wait, they're not on they're not on Netflix anymore, right? Those Marvel shows.
I actually haven't checked. I have no idea, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, because I know like they were planning on removing those because it's no longer their property. Um.
Yeah, and then once his face said "never say never," and then it just tugged my
Oh yeah, Kevin
emotions,
Feige. Yeah.
tugged at my emotions.
Yeah,
But
but like yeah, yeah, so we're in like the multiverse era of stuff, and yeah,
yeah,
I do agree. I don't think that this type of news should have been leaked. Like, I mean,
yeah,
like here's the thing: we still don't know whether or not Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be
that's
showing up
good.
in Spider-Man 3 because like
That's
those
the
are
thing.
just rumors. Yeah,
Those are just rumors. I'm like,
but we
I
do
think
know
either
that
way, this Spider-Man movie is probably going to be the most watched Spider-Man movie in like
it is
theaters
by
of all
far
time.
now. What I'm curious now, what I'm worried about is this: will this go through the same thing as Crisis on Infinite Earths? Because I don't know if any of you have been following my Instagram account for a long time, but when I made that, I made a post kind of bringing up concerns and worries about whether or not the Mandalorian season 2 will turn out to be like Crisis, where all it is just going to be focusing more on cameo appearances rather than actually fleshing
Oh
out the
yeah, I see
story.
what you mean.
I
Oh, I see
was
what you mean.
half wrong and half right.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
made a discussion about that, a two-parter discussion on
mm,
that account, and I said that like it kind of did, but it still developed the story over time. So I didn't
yeah.
mind it, whatever. but will this same? Do you think the same thing will happen to Spider-Man 3?
That I think it will, honestly, because when people hear Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, they already freaked out. They're gonna be like, "This is gonna be the best movie ever. The
Yeah, but then
three
the story's
best
gonna tank
Spider-Man."
or something like that.
Like, it's still one of those things where, for me, Spider-Man is weird without Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben is the reason Spider-Man or Peter is Spider-Man. It's his main reason he becomes Spider-Man is to help people, so other people don't have to go through that sort of thing.
I think a counter. Now, I'm not trying to argue against you, but I think a counter argument for that would be, oh, Tony Stark is the Uncle Ben of this universe, even though Uncle Ben does
Yeah,
exist. Like, I mean,
yeah,
obviously,
I
when
get. Yeah, sorry, I get that point, but at the same time,
yeah,
it's Uncle
I totally
Ben.
understand where you're coming from. Um, Now, like in terms of Spider-Man 3, it seems like there's going to be two main. Well, as of right now, we know that Electro is going to be in there, played by Jamie
Yep.
Foxx, who played him in Amazing Spider-Man 2. And then you also have
Yep.
Tom Molina, I think that's his name. He played Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2, or the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2, and he's going to play him in Spider-Man 3. What am I don't know if I should be excited or worried because I was
Both.
excited. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited. I'm excited to see all these guys back in live action, right? But then once I hear all these more and more news coming out about this movie, and this movie
Yeah.
is going to be coming out this year, right?
Yeah, this year, which is insane to me.
Yeah. So here's the thing: with all the different well, not really cameos, but all the different returning actors that have kind of been getting leaked and all that stuff, I'm I'm kind of worried that this might follow Crisis, where it focuses more on those cameo appearances or those guest
Yeah.
star appearances rather than actually fleshing out the story, because that's exactly what happened in Crisis. Like, I
Yeah.
kind of feel like Crisis on Infinite Earths kind of cursed me in a way, but I
Yeah.
kind of like that it did because it made me more aware that just because you have all these cool casting news and all that stuff, like, oh, Tobey Maguire's here, Andrew Garfield's here, and like with Crisis on Infinite Earths, Brandon Routh is going to play Superman again, Kevin Conroy
Yeah.
is going to play Batman, live action Batman, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And this one we didn't know about, but Ezra Miller, he's going to show up on there, all that stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Titans is now in the Arrowverse and all that stuff. I was cool to see. It was really cool to see all that, but that took a lot of time away from like actual
Yeah,
story and screen
exactly.
time.
Because like if Spider-Man 3 is focusing just on like, oh, Toby, Andrew, oh my God, they're back, then it takes away from the story. That's what makes it boring. I
Yeah,
don't.
like that.
I mean,
That's
it's
why,
gonna be
like,
fucking amazing to see them if
yeah,
they're in
I
it.
do agree. Yeah,
It's just like you have to focus on the story. But and on the other hand, it is Marvel. They obviously do pretty well with their movies. So
yeah. It's like I feel like if it does turn out that way, which I hope it doesn't. I hope like they actually like try to balance out all this stuff with all the actual writing and all that. But I, what I really what I'm kind of afraid of is that, like, how, like, actually, I don't know what I'm saying. It's just like, because like there's so many thoughts I have about this. I like it, but I also don't like it, and I feel like in the end, it's all gonna be about like this is just gonna be like a guilty conscience for me. Like, whenever if I rewatch this movie and it doesn't turn out that well, it's gonna be like one of those things where if I go back and rewatch Crisis, because if you don't remember, I rewatched Crisis so I can do a 5-part review on it, right?
yeah,
You guys remember that? Um, when I went and rewatched those, obviously I was looking at more from like an analytical standpoint because I was taking notes and all that stuff. But even so, when I was still watching it, I kind of had a it was more of a guilty conscience because I was so hyped for Crisis, right? Little did I know that it would turn out to be not the greatest ever. It was actually a big
yeah.
disappointment in
I
my opinion.
think it's definitely not my top two crossovers. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean there are way better crossovers out there that are better than Crisis.
Yeah.
But when I go back and even just like thinking about Crisis now, I kind of get like a guilty conscience as me where it's like, I want to like it. I know it's not good, right? But I want
You
to
want to
like
like
it because like there's a lot of cool stuff in there. Like, and like part 4 Crisis was by far the best episode in the Arrowverse in my opinion.
it.
But like, I so badly want to like it, but I know I
Yeah.
can't because objectively it's so bad. And like it's like it's kind of like with the Star Wars, like some of the Star Wars prequels and some of the Star Wars sequels, where I know they're bad, they're not good
Yeah.
at all, except for Episode 3 because
Listen,
Episode
man,
3.
don't diss my man Jar Jar. He's the reason the
Well,
Star
no,
Wars is
okay,
so
no, but yeah,
legendary.
no, but I'm getting on that. I know they're not good. I know that they suck, but I still love them. Like
Yeah,
Phantom
exactly.
Menace, Phantom Menace is one of my favorite Star Wars movies. Like, no,
Yeah.
because I know that sounds weird to say it, but like I legit like that movie more than Attack of the Clones. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that, but like legit, I like that more than Attack of the Clones because there's more
Yeah, I
stuff
know.
going on there. Even though, yeah, it still was a boring movie, but I still enjoyed it. It's
Yeah.
kind of like with and even some of the Star Wars sequels too. I know, like, basically nowadays it's basically a curse to like those movies, but I like Force Awakens. It was good. I enjoyed it when I first
Mhm.
watched it. Didn't really like The Last Jedi, and then Rise of
Yep.
Skywalker Episode 9. after I initially watched it, I enjoyed it, even though I know the movie
Yep.
sucks. Like I left the movie theater. Wow, no, okay. I left it when I first watched that movie. I, I was just like waiting on. Like I was just kind of thinking to myself, what did I just watch? Like, what's the plot? Like, but it was still fun to watch. Like, it's one of those types of movies. Now, I watched a YouTuber review
Hmm.
that movie, and he said, I think this perfectly sums up my thoughts. It's one of those movies where if you're not thinking about it, it's fine. It's like an 80s action movie,
Yep.
right? Where like it has very cheesy plots and all that stuff. It doesn't really make any sense in the grand scheme of things. But if you're just looking to watch anything really, it's fine. It's actually kind of entertaining, right? But then when you start looking at it from like either even just not even an analytical standpoint, if you look at it just like actually thinking about the story, it makes no sense. Like you're thinking to
Yeah.
yourself, what am I watching? So that's my thoughts. It's kind of the same thing with Crisis, and
Yeah.
I hope the same thing doesn't happen with Spider-Man 3 with
Yeah.
all the
I don't
news.
think it will. I think Marvel's pretty good at like, and plus Sony's in there too,
Well,
obviously. But I think
this is
they'll.
the first time they're going to be diving like in terms of live
Oh,
action
I
and in
guess
terms
that's
of Marvel
true.
Studios. This is the first time that the MCU is going to be dipping their toes into the multiverse.
That's true.
Because
That's very
I do feel like that all comes back to WandaVision, which I guess we can talk about WandaVision now. First two
the
episodes
reason
were
I've bought Disney Plus.
really that's the sole reason why you got Disney Plus.
Oh yeah, like for the Marvel shows, but then I got
Oh,
into
okay.
Mandalorian and whatnot.
Well,
So
there was a lot of shows that got announced. What was it last month or 2 months ago? Yeah.
2021 for Star Wars, Marvel, DC is gonna look very good this year.
Well, with Star Wars, there's not a lot. I think the only thing is Boba Fett.
Yeah, that's what I thought. There was one more.
I could be
Oh, I
wrong.
forget.
I could be wrong. I could look it up right now. But yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
with WandaVision, I liked the first two episodes. I didn't really think too
I
much
do
of
too.
it, but I feel like it's one of those things where you kind of have to rewatch it, and then you can see like there's a bigger picture. Like obviously, like
Oh yeah, because this is like the first time they ever did like a sitcom sort of
well,
thing.
it's kind of because like after each episode, or I mean, at least the first two, you have what was it? You have like kind of like we kind of like the camera zooms out and it's like it turns out
Yeah,
this is all actually like just like a TV program and all that stuff, and like someone's actually
yeah, yeah,
watching it
yeah.
and someone's calling out like, Wanda, do you hear me? All that stuff, and even some of the commercial breaks too. Like the commercial breaks, they seem kind of pointless at first, but then once
Yeah.
like kind of thought about it, it's like wow, there's actually kind of stuff going on here. Like the first commercial break with the toaster,
Yep.
that there was like a red light on there, and back then there wasn't any
Mm.
kind of color, so it was weird to see a red light on a toaster during that
Yeah,
time, right? And then the
yeah,
second one was really
exactly.
big because it was a watch, right? But the watch
Mm.
had Hydra on it, so like what is this trying, what are they saying to us? Like it's kind of like a it's let's just say that the first two episodes of WandaVision are very cryptic.
Yeah. And one of our friends, who will not be named, that has posted on his Instagram that
I
WandaVision is
no.
fine. Listen,
Well,
you
look,
know who
it
you
is
are.
fine. It's not like okay, no,
Listen,
like
you
it's like
mystery person,
no,
you were way
no,
too early.
no, it is. I do agree that it is fine. It's just the first two episodes. We don't. It's not like
Yeah,
okay, this isn't like the first two episodes, or not. This isn't even like the first episode of The Mandalorian. Or the first episode of
yeah,
The Mandalorian, you like immediately right away, you know that this is going to be a space western. This is going to be like this one like really cool character who doesn't really talk a lot. That's going to be Mando or Din. And he's gonna go around the galaxy and all that stuff, but he finds, the child. He finds Grogu, who finds Baby Yoda. So it's like, okay, well, things are kind of really interesting now. So it's kind of like it gets you right into it. With WandaVision, I understand why people say that it's all right. And look, I'm not gonna get on the hype train right away because, like, again, we don't really know much. But I
yeah,
think with
yeah,
WandaVision, it's going to set up shows like, or not shows, it's gonna set up movies like Spider-Man 3, uh
yeah.
Doctor Strange 2. Actually, Wanda's going to show up in Doctor Strange 2. And
Yeah,
I
I was
think
going. Sorry to interrupt, but I think either in Spider-Man 3 or Doctor Strange 2, I think Wanda's going to be the villain in one of
yeah,
those.
no, well, Wanda's going to show up in Doctor Strange 2. And Doctor Strange 2 is called Doctor Strange in the Multiverse, I think called the Multiverse of Madness or something like that.
Yeah,
So yeah, obviously it's dipping their toes in the multiverse, and I feel like that
yeah,
Spider-Man 3 might also dip their toes in the multiverse as well. So that has
yeah,
me thinking,
exactly.
the whole purpose of WandaVision, right? The whole purpose of
Mhm.
the show is to set up those. It's this basically kind of show that Wanda is breaking the multiverse by bringing in, you know, Vision, right?
Yeah.
Like that, she kind of broke the multiverse, and because of that, now you have all these weird things like, oh look, it's Toby Maguire, he's here, and he's talking with Tom Holland and all that stuff, all that
Yeah.
stuff. So yeah, I think that's the whole purpose is, and that's why I think it has like this very cryptic type of storytelling. Like on the surface, it's just like a sitcom, except with Wanda
Yeah.
and Vision, right? Hence why it's called WandaVision. But I do feel like that with the commercial breaks and with also what happens at the end of each episode, and
Yeah.
especially with some of like those weird like kind of like those very weird like moments, like when like that glass broke in that woman's hand, right?
Yeah.
You remember that, right? In the second episode, as well as that one beekeeper that shows up there at the very
Yeah.
end.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
I
it's like
remember I was at work and I was looking at the news and entertainment news or whatever, and they kept talking about the freaking beekeeper. I'm like, oh great,
yeah,
what's
yeah.
wrong?
So because like WandaVision is so cryptic, I have a feeling that it's specific that way just so that it can set up the multiverse. That's
Yes,
why that's why I think the first two episodes are so how do I put it? The first two episodes are so weird.
yeah.
I think
I was about to say when it comes to WandaVision, I think it's going to start off really slow because this is kind of like the first time they're kind of doing a sitcom thing. Then it's
yeah.
by the end, it's gonna be like super fast. They're gonna get in a war or something with a bunch of people.
Yeah,
Whatever.
exactly, yeah.
I think this is, yes. I think WandaVision is gonna be a good show. People who are saying that the Marvel TV shows are gonna blow the Arrowverse shows out of the water, you're dumb.
Well, I mean, the Arrowverse shows they need. I think they need to regroup. I think after Crisis, look, Crisis was great from a business standpoint because now that obviously DC kind of confirmed that it's all connected. Everything is every single universe and all that stuff. It's all connected under one multiverse. So I think that's great.
Yeah,
But Crisis kind of how do you put it? Crisis kind of it wasn't that great, and it kind of
yeah,
tanked on like it kind of like turned people off from the CW ever kind of becoming like the powerhouse that it once was in terms of comic book properties.
yeah,
So
exactly.
I do feel like they need to go on the back burner for now and just have HBO Max take the spotlight, and then maybe like
Yeah.
once this inevitable crossover happens where they have all these different shows uh that kind of come together, even the movies as well. Whenever that happens,
Oh,
maybe
bro,
that's
that
when the
would break
CW
the
can
internet.
kind of get back on top and be like, okay, this is where we need to up our game. This is where we need to like, we need the spotlight again. Well, I think they need to share the spotlight with HBO Max, but like they need to like get on their game. But I think for now, because they kind of taken a hit with two shows getting canceled and then one
Yeah,
potential show getting dropped, which that being
yeah,
Green Arrow and the Canaries. I do feel like that
yeah,
they need to just go on the back burner for now. I think
yeah.
they
I
just need to
agree
like
with
lay
that.
low, just do their thing, like have all these smaller shows like Naomi and Wonder Girl and Painkiller and all that stuff. And then
Mhm.
maybe like once they build those shows up, once they get those shows well, like well, they still need to advertise it, right? So they can get
Yeah,
all
of
the
course.
ratings. But once they get those once like those shows get really interesting, maybe they can start implementing them into other universes, or I guess
Yeah,
like in the multiverse, right? So
I was just about to say I've been thinking a lot. I think when it comes to like DC movies and whatnot, I think it will start to get really good once the Black Adam movie comes out. I have high
yeah,
expectations for that movie. I think if that movie flops, I'm sorry, DC, you
I
kind of
think I think what's right. I think it all depends on the Flash movie because like
oh
this is
yeah, and the Flash
Flashpoint.
movie too. I have high
Yeah, because
expectations.
yeah, the Flash movie is really where all the stuff, all the big stuff happens. I feel like after Flashpoint there might be a soft reboot.
Yeah,
But another thing I'm confused about is because with the Snyder cut for Justice League, it's
yeah,
not gonna. There's not gonna be a sequel to it. Like Zack Snyder's done with the DC universe, so
yeah,
like that has me thinking like, what is the Snyder cut gonna be canon? Is like I hope like
yeah,
what happens in the Flash movie is that he does Flashpoint, he messes up reality in time and all that stuff, and then once he tries to fix the time back, that for some reason makes the Snyder Cut canon, and then they can kind of someone like another director can pick up the project and make a
Yeah,
not really a direct sequel, but kind of like in a way like a half sequel to the Zack Snyder Cut.
yeah, and I also have high expectations for next Suicide Squad movie because it's directed by James Gunn. Or am I stupid? James, what's his face?
Both Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, and Guardians 3. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's really interesting. I'm actually kind of excited to see Peacemaker, that John Cena show.
yeah. I'm
'Cause
actually. I know he's in the Suicide Squad movie. I haven't heard of a show yet, unless
no,
I'm.
they confirmed that there's going to be a show of him. I think. Hopefully it's not a prequel show. I really don't want it to be a prequel show. Hopefully that they actually
I
like
hope
John.
it's like before Suicide, like he does it before Suicide Squad, like it's before he joins the Suicide
Oh,
Squad.
I
I
hope
hope
it
it.
happens after the movie because
Really?
then they can continue, or I guess what they could do is they can the first season can take place before the movie, and then the second season can take place after the movie, something like something like
Yeah, I
that.
can see that. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, but actually, speaking of shows coming up, there was a lot of Star Wars shows that were also announced along with the Marvel shows. Now, if you guys don't know, on the Galactic Arrowverse Hub, I only report, or not really, I guess, yeah, report. I only make content on DC and Star Wars stuff. I also do The Boys and Umbrella Academy, but I haven't really done a lot of that lately because there's not a lot to write for those shows. But there were a lot of Star Wars shows announced. Um,
Yeah.
what is the one Star Wars show that you're most excited for? The new one, at least.
That's tough.
Because I can
I
name them all here. So there's Rangers of the Republic, there's Ahsoka, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Andor, Visions, which is basically just anime Star Wars, Acolyte, and then Boba Fett, which is coming December of this
for
year.
for May, it's probably between Boba Fett and Ahsoka
Yeah.
because I think Ahsoka in the Clone Wars was probably one of my favorite characters.
Yeah,
Boba Fett
actually,
has always been a cool character for me.
I'm glad that you mentioned Ahsoka because there's been news coming out lately about that show that characters like Sabine Wren and Ezra might show up in there, and it
Ooh,
and also they're from Star Wars Rebels, right? And you
yeah.
watch that show. I'm currently in the process of watching that show. I'm only on the first season. I think I'm like 5 episodes in. Um,
Have a fun time, man.
yeah, so I have a feeling because there was supposed to be there was like a rumored Star Wars Rebels sequel show, but it never got picked up. So I have a feeling that that's kind of gonna get moved over to Ahsoka because she
Hmm.
was in Rebels. So
Yeah.
so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm actually trying to watch Rebels right now, and I don't know,
Mhm.
it's all right. But I haven't got to the good stuff yet, obviously. But
Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
yeah. So do you have any thoughts on that with Ahsoka potentially being a Rebel sequel?
I I like it. I think when it comes to Ahsoka and the Rebels, I think the Rebels obviously is not as talked about as a show as like the Clone Wars, for example. Because the Clone Wars, when it comes to the Star Wars show, that is probably the best one.
It's like up there with, I think, in my opinion, it's still better than Mandalorian, but
Yeah,
Mandalorian's getting up there. But in my
Mandalorian's
opinion,
good
it's
up
still the
there.
best Star Wars show ever.
Yeah, because I think I'm pretty sure they're gonna do another season of Mandalorian. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
actually, speaking of, that won't be coming out until like probably early 2022. So
Yeah, fair
it might be
enough.
over
Like,
a year until we get a new season.
yeah, fair enough. I think Star Wars just obviously Star Wars for some people. Like, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. If you know me, I'm telling you now, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. That's more of Marley's department. I'm full DC, Marvel, everything else. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but I think what they're doing is great. Movies have to start getting better. I will admit
Yeah,
that.
like I think I mentioned this to you when we were talking on Xbox a couple of months ago now, I guess.
So,
But
yeah.
basically, what Star Wars is going through right now is exactly what DC went through a couple years ago. Because if you don't remember, couple of years ago, the DCEU movies were not good. Suicide Squad was
No,
terrible. You had Batman v Superman, which was it's all right.
it's way too quick. They did that way too quick.
Yeah, I know. And then you also, well, you had Wonder Woman and all that stuff, but yeah, the DC movies weren't that great. Obviously, you had Justice League, which was just a massive, like, it was just a disaster. Both the actual movie
Mm,
itself and then what happened behind the scenes. Um,
yeah,
um, but yeah, but when those movies were being released, excuse me, you had the Arrowverse slowly building up. I think around that time it was still just Arrow and maybe the Flash,
I think the
but then they
Flash
start.
just started, if I remember correctly. I think the Flash
Yeah,
season just
so
started. It was in like its third season or something.
yeah, so that has me thinking that what Star Wars is going through right now is exactly what DC went through, and I do feel like
Yeah,
that they just need to focus on the shows right now. And there is going to be a Star Wars, several, I think. Well, yeah, there's going to be a couple of Star Wars shows coming out later. I know there's Rogue Squadron, which is directed by Patty Jenkins, who directed the Wonder Woman movie. So, I mean,
yeah,
because again, I've only watched the first one. I really like
yeah,
the first one. Haven't watched the second one yet, so I guess you can give more
yeah.
of an input on, or you can kind of give more thoughts on Rogue Squadron. And then there's
Yeah.
also going to be another Star Wars show. Not show, but there's going to be another Star Wars movie that's untitled, directed by Taika Waititi. So I'm actually really
Mhm.
interested in that one. And
Yeah.
reason why I'm really interested in that one is because Taika Waititi does more comedic movies. Like he did Thor Ragnarok, which is a very comedic movie. Is
Very
still one of my favorite MC movies of all time.
yeah.
Um, and even some of the episodes that he directed in The Mandalorian, they were more on the comedic side. Like I remember,
Yeah.
I think he directed the last episode of season one, where like he was like, "Hey, baby, do the magic hand thing," and does the magic hand. That was pretty
Yeah.
funny. I like that one. But yeah, he does more of the comedic episodes in The Mandalorian. So I have a feeling that his Star Wars film is going to be more comedic, which I don't know how I feel about that because Star Wars, for the most part, is more serious, both the
Yeah, I
shows
feel
and
like
movies.
Star Wars is like way more serious than it is funny.
Yeah, especially the movies too. Like, and I know like The Last Jedi tried to be comedic and it just didn't
Mhm.
work.
That didn't
But
really work.
yeah, actually, just the sequels in general tried being more comedic. Like they try, it was very Marvel esque.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm really curious to see how this plays out. Like, hopefully it's good. But like, you never know because I mean, this is Taika Waititi's thing. This isn't like where he's just directing one episode. This is like an entire movie. So yeah, I'm curious to see how it turns out. Taika Waititi, for the most part, he does direct good movies. So I'm really he's also going to be in Suicide Squad as well. I
I
just
know.
realized that. So yeah, I mean, I guess he's really busy.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of the Star Wars shows, for me, what I'm most excited about is I think the Obi-Wan Kenobi show because
Oh yeah. That
yeah,
would be a good show too.
yeah, Ewan McGregor, he's going to be reprising his role as Obi-Wan. He played Obi-Wan in the prequels. And same with
Mm.
Hayden Christensen, he's going to be playing Darth Vader, which is really interesting. And
Yeah.
according to Kathleen Kennedy, he said there's going to be a rematch of the century, so it seems like that Obi-Wan's going to fight Darth Vader, but which
I know
like
how
a
I
lot
feel
of
about
people are kind of complaining that it might break canon because
that.
Obi-Wan in Star Wars Legends never left Tatooine, but this isn't Star Wars Legends anymore. This is Disney canon, so you never know. Maybe he could leave and go on a couple missions and all that stuff. But
Yeah, exactly.
they did say it takes place 10 years after Episode 3. So I'm really curious to see
Yeah.
about that. But yeah, that's the one show that I'm really most excited about. Another thing that I saw online, I kind of touched upon this on my Mandalorian season 2 discussion, was that a lot of people really wanted the Mandalorian and Ahsoka and Rangers of the New Republic to erase the sequel trilogy, which I don't
Mm.
think that's happening. I think the opposite is going to happen, where they're going to set up the sequels
There's no way that.
because if you don't remember from the Ahsoka episode in season 2, she mentions Grand Admiral Thrawn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you watch Rebels, you remember him, right? The blue guy. I'm
Blue
trying to.
guy.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to like dumb it down for so you can understand it better.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, the blue guy from Star Wars Rebels. Yeah,
Yeah.
Thrawn's gonna. I've a feeling Thrawn's gonna be in the Ahsoka show, and I have a feeling he might set up the First Order. So,
Yeah.
I have a feeling that they're not gonna erase them. If anything, they might set up those shows. They might set up the sequels. But yeah. Was there any Marvel shows that you were the most interested on, besides
Um,
WandaVision?
Probably Loki for me. I think I saw a trailer for the Loki show. I think the Loki show is going to be more humorous than
Oh
anything. I
yeah,
think it's going to
definitely.
be more of a funny movie. movie. I mean, WandaVision was always up there. I was curious to see what they were going to do there. I'm excited for all the Marvel shows, but right now I'm super excited for Loki out of all of them.
Yeah. Also, I read this somewhere like a couple years ago, like before like Loki, like we got the teaser trailer, obviously, but like when the Loki show was first announced, like
Mhm.
I read somewhere that it was supposed to be like a prequel movie or not prequel movie, prequel show where it would be like young Loki and it was narrated by Tom Hiddleston. But like
Yeah,
that's not the case. If anything, I think from the trailer at least, Loki seems to be more of like a Legends of Tomorrow type of vibe, where they
yeah,
travel time and all that stuff. That's the kind of the vibe I'm getting from that.
yeah. I agree with that. And one show we haven't really talked about is Titans.
Oh yeah, so
Really,
there's a
right?
lot of well, actually not a lot. I wouldn't say a lot. Well, there was a lot of stuff that was announced about that.
Yeah,
Let me just find it. I know that yeah, obviously Red Hood is going to be the main villain for the first half of season three,
I
which I'm not sure if I like. Like I
don't
do
like that at
understand
all.
the dynamic because I think what they're trying to do is that they're trying to replace Batman with Dick Grayson. So they can
Yeah,
have Jason Todd. He wants revenge on Dick Grayson, even though Dick Grayson, like throughout most of the season, tried helping out Jason Todd. So he
yeah,
doesn't really have a reason to be mad at him. I mean,
mm,
I understand that why he's mad at the Titans because they nearly made him commit suicide, but I don't think why I don't there's no
yeah.
reason for him to kill them, So
I
I'm
think
really
he may
worried.
actually kill Batman. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm really worried about that show.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
really,
sorry,
really
like
worried.
I tried to like this show. I've tried really hard because it looks
Like
good.
you're putting too many characters. You're putting Red Hood already in what season 3?
Yeah,
And too quick.
and then Blackfire, which is Coriander's sister, she's going to be the
Yeah,
main villain in the second half. Which I thought that she was going to be the main villain just for the season in general, But
yeah.
then they
That's what I
added
was
in.
thinking too because she was like running away from them or whatever. The like
Yeah,
later
and then
part
they're
of
gonna go to
the first.
Gotham City, and then they're and they're gonna be both Barbara Gordon and Scarecrow. So it's
Yeah,
like,
like what the
what
fuck?
does this have to do with the story? Like, I mean, I assume that this is going to like okay, so when they go to Gotham, this is what just my prediction. They're gonna go to Gotham. You're gonna Dick Grayson's gonna reunite with Barbara and whatever and all that stuff,
Yeah,
and they're gonna run into Scarecrow, right? They're gonna run into Scarecrow there. But then I think the reason why they're there is because of Jason Todd, right? Because maybe he wants to terrorize this year. I don't know. I don't know what they're
I
gonna do
don't
with
know.
this character. But I feel like maybe in the last couple episodes of the season, maybe Scarecrow. There's going to be a scene with Scarecrow where he's going to be like, "I'm going to have my revenge" or something like that, and then he's going to be the main villain for season 3, or excuse me, season
Yeah,
4. That's what I
yeah,
think is going to happen. But like, I still don't see any reason for Scarecrow to be in this show yet.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it would be cool for him to be the villain for season 3, and I guess I feel like that's what they're gonna try and do by introducing him early in the season or something like that. Like introduce
yeah.
him here. The team goes to Gotham City. They run into Scarecrow, and then he later shows up at the end of the season. Has like a model, like an evil villain monologue or something like that, and then boom, season 4 Titans. There you go. I don't know.
Could
That's just what I think.
um after I think about it, could Scarecrow maybe make Red Hood? Maybe mess with him in some way and then make him turn into Red Hood? To do something like
Uh,
that?
uh, that is interesting. Although that would be one very powerful fear toxin. um, Because
Yeah,
like yeah, Red Hood's gonna be the villain for the first half of a season, so I have a feeling. Oh, they're also gonna be introducing Tim Drake as well, so the third Robin, which I don't think they should. I feel like he should be trained by Batman,
yeah,
then
exactly.
have him become Robin there. But instead of introducing me, I guess like maybe it's like a
I
trying
think
to.
they're just moving way too fast with this
Yeah,
show.
no,
They're
I
moving
I
way too
100% agree
fast.
with you. They're moving way too fast. They're introducing way too much stuff here. They're not really
And when you
focusing.
introduce that many characters, then it's just like we're gonna like it's just gonna
It's
be
exact.
confusing.
Yeah, it's not even they're introducing too many characters. Is that they're introducing too much stuff to where
Oh,
like
and I
it
saw
doesn't.
like a freaking rumor that Batwoman's there. The actor.
Oh no! Oh no! 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 Okay, so
Something that's not
that's
true.
not really. She's not going to cross over. Okay, so what I think what is going on is that Javicia Leslie, she's probably doing like a photo shoot or probably some sort of shooting or whatever in Toronto. I think that's where they're filming Titans, right? So she's
Yeah.
on set, but she's not actually going to be in that show. It's kind of like
Yeah.
this was leaked or not leaked, but this was kind of reported a couple weeks, a couple weeks ago that Ewan McGregor showed up on the Mandalorian show, right? And the reason
Yeah.
why is because he was doing a costume fitting for Obi-Wan
Mm.
for the Obi-Wan show, right? Because they're obviously
Oh
doing an
yeah.
Obi-Wan show. So that has me thinking. I think Javisa Leslie just showed up on set just because either they're going to be doing a photo shoot or maybe like a fitting of some sort or
Yeah.
whatever, but she's not actually going to be in Titans.
Yeah. I hope not, because like I wouldn't mind like maybe a crossover where they show up and it's like a little thing or whatever. But I don't want to be like a humongous thing, because Batwoman can't save Titans. But for all we know, this season of Titans maybe will be great. I doubt it.
I doubt it too. With all the stuff that's going on, I highly doubt it's actually going to turn out that well. I feel like it's just going to be just as messy, or maybe even a little bit more messier than season two.
Yeah, that's what I think so too. But if somehow it's good, I'll be very shocked.
Yeah, same. I mean, look, I don't want the show to fail. Like, even though
I
I've
don't
been
want it
talking
to
about the
fail
show,
either. I love
well, yeah,
Harlan.
like, okay, well, with all the posts I made about Titans on my account, or on our
Mm.
account, because you haven't been
Yeah,
posting on there a while, but
yeah,
with all the posts I made about on Titans, it seems like I want the show to fail. No, I don't. I want the show to do really good. It's just that like
because
it's
Titans is like
really
really big.
hard for that because it's just like it's just piling more and more stuff on top of it to the point where it's just a heavy load. I don't
Oh
even think they can balance this. Like, look at the season two finale for Titans. They basically wrapped up each storyline within like like each storyline that was set up in throughout that season was wrapped up in 5 minutes.
yeah. I also
Like
have
they wrapped
another
up.
thing to say.
Sorry, you can
I
go
don't know
on.
if this is true or not. I heard that they written Cyborg out of the DCEU.
Oh yeah, so he was supposed to play a large role in the Flash movie, but he's not. But they're gonna write him out, and that's because of all the drama that's happening behind the scenes. And to be honest with
Yeah,
you, I stand by Ray Fisher. I'm just gonna say right now, I stand by Ray Fisher and what he's doing. Now, at first, I wasn't really all in with whatever he was trying to do because there wasn't any evidence to back up his claims, right?
yeah,
But with all the stuff that's happening behind the scenes with like because he had an article on Variety, I think, I can't remember where, but
yeah.
excuse me, he wrote a no, he didn't write, but well, there was an interview with him, and he
Mm.
revealed a lot of the stuff that happened behind the scenes on Justice League, and
Yeah,
it was put into an article. That article got taken down by
yeah,
Warner Brothers. Now they could have taken that down because of libel or slander or something like that.
yeah.
But it's okay. That alone is very questionable, right?
They're writing out the whole character.
Well, yeah, because of the drama behind the scenes.
The whole
And
Cyborg character is done.
well, I don't think they wanted to return. I don't think Warner
Well,
Brothers wants him back.
I mean, I
Actually,
don't
just
mind the Titans or a different actor that
well,
does.
there is a different cyborg actor on Doom Patrol.
Okay, didn't know that.
Yeah,
Good to know.
but with Ray Fisher, now I know this is kind of getting off track, but just recently, I think either today or yesterday, they um he put out like an audio recording of his conversation with a representative from Warner Brothers. And
Mm.
yeah, it's not looking good for the company. Like honestly, it does seem like that Ray Fisher is actually onto something, and like he is trying to expose the truth and like expose the abuse that happened on set of Justice League.
Yeah,
So, and look again, like I said, I fully stand by him. I mean, I don't think he's doing this just for attention. I know some people are saying, "Oh, he's just doing this for attention" or something like that. And why
yeah,
couldn't he say this way back then? Well, it's because Josh Whedon's no longer working with Warner Brothers and all that stuff. And now that the Snyder Cut's coming out, it's kind of giving him like a doorway to actually, kind of expose what happened behind the scenes. So,
yeah. Exactly.
well, I don't want to end on a really bad negative note there, but
Yeah.
yeah, that will be all for today. Thank you for listening in to the Martian Tomato podcast. Hopefully, we do more of these. We don't
We'll
take like a
definitely start
long.
doing. Me and Mr. Marley will talk off screen just to see if there's dates
Yes,
work for
we will
us.
try to get a set schedule in. No
Yeah,
guarantees on a
because
set
I would love
schedule,
to do
but
this
like
more. I miss doing this. This is really fun. Just
yeah,
talking about.
hopefully we do this weekly, but not on like the same day. I remember when we first did it, when we first did this podcast, it was like every Wednesday, and
Yeah,
I just edit everything out, be on out on Wednesday. This
yeah,
probably, because we were recording this on a Saturday, this probably won't be out until Sunday. But don't
yeah,
expect.
probably.
But I'm just gonna keep just a fair warning. Do not expect these podcasts on Sunday or any specific day. It might come out
Yeah,
any day of the week. Maybe it might be
really
coming out
depends on
every other
both our
week.
schedules.
Yeah, because like our work schedules are all over the place. But yes,
Yeah,
thank you for stopping by. Really sorry to end on a very bad note, especially
yeah,
on our first podcast back. But yes,
yeah,
hopefully, maybe we'll be doing reviews for Batwoman and all that stuff, and discussing
yeah,
WandaVision, all that stuff, and all that. This was actually really fun to do. I
yeah. I
was
miss.
really happy to do this again.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, we will see you all later.
Yeah, and have a good day, people. Damn, that was really good. I miss doing that.